in Google search and it didn't come up with anything that made sense. Anyway,
I'm gonna just start the meeting because I'm on record. So I just want to,
okay,
this is the May 11th, 2021 meeting of the Acquisitions and Dispositions Committee. So sorry, I just wanted to make sure I did that.
oh, that's fine. I guess I need to go click the link, but all righty.
All right, I
That was
guess
from the documents he sent, right, Heather?
It was the email that Tony sent.
Emailed it.
That's what Tony did an email. So I clicked on the link in there towards the bottom.
You mean in the documents that he sent?
No, in the email that Tony sent out, and he said, Tony sent out an email.
Okay, well, I guess I didn't get that email that had a link.
On Thursday, May 6th, 2021.
Thursday.
It's the purchase application, the initial one, and yes, you did get it. You're on it.
Okay,
Try this.
but I don't in the.
I'm gonna send it again to you with a hyperlink.
No,
So,
I have it. It's just,
Huh.
there's no, there are documents at the bottom.
There
Attachments.
should just be one attachment of the purchase application. It's that one. And he sent it Thursday, May 6th at 5:56 p.m. And it says 3154 6th Avenue purchase application.
oh, I think you guys are talking about two different things. Jeanette's talking about his website.
Right. Well, you have a link to his website in this email.
In the application, yeah.
No, not
In
in the
the-
application, in your email, but in the body of your email. It says,
I
here
do
is a
not
link.
have that.
That's right. Yep. I did do that.
Well, I have a Cordero purchase application. Hi, everyone. I just want, no, that's this one.
It says, hello, everyone. I have attached a purchase application from Manuel. I'm going to resend it to you, Jeanette. So you have it, and I'm going to send it to both email addresses.
No, only just use the JNet. Oh, you're talking about the land bank email.
No, that's okay. I'll use the JNet one. It's coming right over.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Right.
thought it'd be interesting to take a look at what he had on there.
Not much.
Okay,
shall we call the meeting to order? 2:34.
Got it.
Got it.
We'll have Jeanette and Catherine and Heather and Brian and Tony. Anyone else?
Not that I can see.
All right. First item, review purchase applications, 3154 6th Avenue.
Okay, let's see.
Well, I sent you guys the kind of the overall spreadsheet. One correction on there. I didn't check his credit until today, and when I did, it was a score of 804. So excellent credit. And the criminal background
18 months.
came back clear.
oh, that's good. Seems like a really optimistic proposal for that property. Which is a
Oh,
good thing, I guess. And I hope he doesn't mind, or the residents. If he does get to build it, I hope the residents don't mind neighbors of Hell's Angels, since they're across the street.
Bank of Coxsackie, they do close. I do work for them. They're excellent.
Great.
Yes.
So, and the costs don't seem unrealistic. Well, I don't know, is there, was there a scope of the proposed Let me see here, Tony. And I did correct, you had a different credit score in there. Let me look here.
Is there blueprints or schematics of what he's building or no? Yeah.
Yeah, not blueprints, but he has, you know, a rudimentary floor plan. And he does have different details. I mean, actually, he does show a fairly decent amount of information, especially considering this is a purchase application. We've seen far worse than this.
Yes, we have. Okay, I'm just going through.
This is the new build, Tony?
Yes,
Okay. So this would be a first for Troy Land Bank. So just some of the information, I guess, surrounding the new build is that we really need, and it's not that you can't, you know, approve it now and at the next board meeting, but it's going to be subject to actual plans. And that contract will be contingent upon, you know, government approvals and, you know, the financing and all of that. And we're going to have to come up with a timeline, you know, to see how long he thinks it's going to take, you know, to do that. And much like our favorite property in the whole world, 791 River, we have to make sure that whatever he's going to build fits in the character of the neighborhood. And you would know that much more than I would, but
doesn't,
you know, so that's why we really need to see the actual plans of.
There's actually a lot on the application here. His timeline is 1 year, 6 months. And I'm scrolling down through, there's renderings here of what they're
Okay.
proposing to do.
Okay.
It's very, very interesting in a good way.
Was this
Um,
attached to the
email that Tony just sent out at 2:30, it
Okay,
has
yeah.
the PDF,
okay,
and I am on page 16.
okay,
So there's
got
the
it.
proposed design, there's the floor plan, blonde wood facade with black trim.
Oh, there it is. Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
and here's the floor plans.
all right. Yeah,
This is consistent with, yeah.
that's definitely enough. Yep.
he also knows he needs zoning variances. He's spoken with code enforcement on that. I told him he's very likely going to need site plan review from planning commission. So he's a registered architect, so I presume he knows that process pretty well.
Okay,
He
awesome.
has a whole timeline here. If you look on page 21, property purchase,
Okay,
design phase, construction, he's proposing November through June, and then leasing it in July, stabilization. Yeah, this is an excellent,
yeah, it's not uncommon for 18 to 24 months for a new build, even for land banks. So I think you would approve 18 months up front and see how it goes. You know, because building materials are sky high too. Somebody told me they paid $60 for a small piece of plywood. So it should be interesting to see with new builds, what the costs are gonna be.
He's using alternative building materials on this too. He's using a panelized system. So I looked into it a little bit, but I'm sure the price is up on that as well. But Kate, you were talking about, it sounded like you were saying we need to identify milestones. So
he has
Yeah.
them on here.
Yeah, he does. I looked through it.
okay,
Yeah, I mean, I'm
yeah, that's
comfortable.
right. He does.
With it, and it'll be a very different contract than you're used to seeing, you know, with all our contingencies in there. But looks like a great project.
Yeah,
I agree, and I think you should have him give a get together with Roberta and to do a presentation on how to do an application for the land bank.
You didn't see my videos yet?
Kate, I get you in person.
I know.
I wanted to be in on that.
We did, Berta and I did, just for information purposes, 2 videos together. The one was walking people through the application process, and the other was the enforcement process. So people know exactly, what is expected of them, and they should be posted, I think, on the website and or social media by now, I would think.
Cool.
Yeah.
Kate, I have one question, and this was actually something that I meant to bring up. So the owner will actually be an LLC.
Mhm.
And the LLC is comprised of 2 people of equal ownership.
Oh, you got to vet the second member.
Okay,
Yeah.
Michaela Lynch.
Yep. So you need your
Okay.
background and check on her as well.
okay. And her name on the application,
Yes.
license. Okay,
And you may want to, it's okay if you don't, but normally with LLCs, we ask for their operating agreement and
I've got
their-
that.
Yeah.
I've
Cool.
got that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm on their website. They already have the project on their website.
Yeah, and so when I saw that, I tried to find out if the other 2 have been constructed, but I wasn't able to figure it out.
Doesn't look like it. Yeah. I don't even know if you can go 4 stories with wood in a multifamily like that, but that's all right.
Do they have an architect?
He is an architect.
He is.
He's an architect, yeah.
Yeah.
Registered
Okay.
architect of New York State.
So that question is a little bit. I
Well,
mean, can you, Brian? I mean, that's a valid question.
Yeah, I can check right now on it.
He is using some sort of a panelized system.
Right.
It's not,
a typical
it's
structure.
not, it's not a, what do you call it?
No, I mean for fire. I'm not talking about structure.
Right.
Oh, geez, fire suppression.
It looks like it's 1, 2, 3, 4 entry elevation with a. Oh, I like it.
Yeah, it looks great.
He's definitely gonna need fire suppression.
So what was the proposed purchase price for the lot?
$1,000.
Oh, boy.
Yikes.
When, everybody always asks me, what price should I put on it? And I always tell them, I can't give you that. I can't tell you that, but I can give you some historical facts. And I said, typically, if you were buying this as a side lot, they generally go $4,000 a lot. This would probably be considered a building lot because you're going to build something on it. And traditionally, the committee expects a higher offer for that. But he came back with $1,000. So
Nah, he's got to pay more than that. Traditionally,
I would agree that 1,000 is really for the side yard.
Not
Right.
an unusable lot.
Yeah,
Well, like
I
if
mean,
Let's
If the
see.
neighbor was grabbing the side yard. That we've done 1 and 2,000, right? But for
yeah,
new build, he's gonna put $350,000 on. I think 5,000 is super reasonable.
for
oh,
that,
I was gonna say 10. I've seen Albany sell it for 10, but it's up to you.
for that
Hey.
building lot at, if you go west on Park Avenue and you hit 7th Avenue, you're looking at the building that we demolished. We sold that as a building lot for $6,000 or $7,000.
How much? 6 to 7?
Yeah, and it was a double lot. So I'm just giving you facts that I happen to recollect.
Yeah, I'd be comfortable in the 5 to 10 range.
Yeah, right in the middle, 750.
What, did we have a listing price on this, Tony, or no?
No,
Okay,
not to my recollection.
all right. I mean, there's no harm in going back and saying, you know, we want 7,500 for it if that's what you want.
Yeah, it's a pretty small lot too.
It is.
It doesn't include that little back piece. Like if you look on page 8 of his design
It-
proposal.
That lot is super tiny. It's deceiving because the space south of the corner parcel makes it seem like there's a big, good sized lot there, but almost all of that is owned by the owner who owns the building to the south, and it's all the same parcel.
Yeah.
So, you know, even if someone wanted to go to that owner and say, buy the parcel, they'd have to go through subdivision and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in agreement with Brian and Jeanette. I'm gonna suggest that we go back with a counter.
To go back with 10. Then you'll get 5.
Well, the way we've done this before is the committee has countered and it's been considered the final offer.
Oh,
Yeah,
Mm.
so
And
why
that-
don't we
that-
just, I mean,
That's the way
just go
you've
back
done
at
it.
5.
Oh,
go
how
back at
about
5.
75?
I say
7,500
7,500 too. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right,
7,500.
Because
I mean,
if
hell,
he-
that's,
if he doesn't have $7,500 in cash and he's going to do this project, then he shouldn't be doing it.
okay, 7,500.
That's what I feel about it.
I agree.
So, Kate, how do I have to address this for the board meeting next week? Because we have an application with only one person rather than 2. Kate is on mute and I think multitasking. I suppose the committee could condition that before the board acts, the application has to be revised to show both owners of the LLC.
Both owners of the LLC, you have to do a credit check on you have to vet the second partner.
Yeah.
And do a condition upon purchase price of 7,500.
That sounds great.
I like the project, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's an
I-
Avoca Street in Newburgh. Let's see, if you click on them, it takes you, I'm on his portfolio. Let's see. Yeah, and if you click on them, it takes you to, like, he does have 3154 6th Avenue on his website already. Let's see. Let me go.
Yeah, I drove down Abaca Street trying to find that building, but wasn't able to.
It's here, if you click on it. So very cool. If you click on it, it shows the existing building.
Is it, well, it could be a dated photo.
Click on what?
Yeah, what are you guys looking at?
When you click on the renderings on his website, when you click on the renderings, it takes you to the project.
I didn't know that.
You old
Yeah.
folks, my goodness.
Oh, yeah, I do know that. Doesn't
Uh-huh.
take it.
No,
to the
you.
street.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, so I went on Google Maps and drove down Abaca Street to try to find that building and I wasn't able to. So
Yeah.
I wanted to see if it gonna change at all.
And you can do type 5 wood construction 4 stories for this if it's type 5A, which is a protected it means all your floors are protected, fire resistance rated. So it's doable. I don't know if he knows what he's in for, but
Will he need fire suppression?
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And all his floors are one exit, so I'm not sure he's figured that out yet, but he may be able to do it. So we don't have to motion on this, do we? Or do we?
Yeah,
Yeah, we
For the
do.
recommendation,
All
yeah.
right, so do I have a motion to approve the
I'll make it.
application for $7,500 as a counteroffer?
With
Yes,
the, with the added condition of a revised application to show the other LLC owner and that the credit and criminal check comes back
Yeah.
acceptable.
yes.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Wait,
get the
Jeanette,
vote?
are you?
You
Yeah.
on board, Jeanette?
I think-
All right. Next item. I lost my
I was
agenda.
muted, looking at the plans already.
March 23rd meeting minutes. I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I will second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Next. Foreclosure status updates, seat enforcement program development.
Yeah, has seat started at 791 yet? Tony?
Started to work?
Yeah,
No, they have not. We're still trying to figure out what options to go with. But having said that, George Brower is going in tomorrow to cut open an access way so that he can have someone go in and do some pressure testing. So if you remember the building in the back at every landing, there is supposed to be a door, and when you open it up, there's supposed to be a furnace in there. On the second floor, there is no door, and the HVAC is just stuck above the first floor furnace. It's really, really bizarre. So anyway, George is having wants somebody to come over to take a look at that, so he knows more what he's getting involved with. I am hoping to be at code enforcement tomorrow. I engaged Chazen, who has an outstanding codes division. They did all our inspections in Malta for Global Foundries. And I'm going over there with Ed Larkin and a fellow named Mike, I can't remember his last name, who used to work at code enforcement. And the purpose for the visit is to go over there to know precisely where we stand in terms of, New York State building code compliance and inspections and all that kind of stuff. So if we have that meeting tomorrow, hopefully I will know more, as a result.
yeah, I was just under the impression that they were really anxious to get in there and start.
But there,
And it's gonna be the middle of May soon.
they want to start by June 1st.
Okay, so we're
what they
still a
said.
couple. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Foreclosure status? Is that the same thing? No, that's the city foreclosures.
No, this would be the properties that Kate's going after to take back.
Okay,
Yeah, we're
That's
at the
enforcement. Yep. Okay.
default judgment stage for both of those.
Yep.
So I'll be filing the default, probably both of them, I would say, by mid next week. I tried one more time to serve notice because we have to do that for the statute. And then I need to draft an order to see which way we want to do this. Because if the court orders a default judgment, basically it directs them to do a deed back over to us, but getting them to actually do that is tough, right? So I'd have to hold them in contempt of court. So I'm trying to decide whether I want a referee appointed or I want to just go the other route. But in any event, the motion should be filed the middle of next week.
Updates on projects? Any more discussion on enforcement? All right, moving on to updates on project 791 River.
It's still there.
Hey,
So I think I gave an update on that when Jeanette asked her question, unless you guys had more questions beyond that.
I was just gonna ask about Richard Herrick's emails. Is there anything to do there?
I did respond to him.
I saw that, yeah.
You know, again.
He responded back too.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's just like, it's Google, now I'm a Google lawyer, you know, I'm a Google doctor, you know, it's, you know, I don't know whether he means well, or he's just, you know, really tries to, you know, get us caught up on something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But in this case, you know, I just responded and basically said, you know, it's a co-development agreement. And quite frankly, with the state of 791 River Street, it's also an emergency situation to finish that building and not leave it, you know, like that open. There's a lot of reasons why we wouldn't have to rebid that work.
Yeah.
So, you know, and anything else with regard to the previous contractor is between us and that contractor, and that's not, you know, and your attorney, it's not a publicly disclosable thing. So, you know, he's probably going to continue to contact people. He copied Enterprise, he copied Seat, my other client, and has been harassing Jennifer. You know, and he just wasn't satisfied with the legal opinion that, you know, no, we don't. And by the way, you approved a co-development with Habitat.
But she regrets now.
Yes,
Yeah, I read that.
for an entirely different reason, not because we had to bid it, right? But again, you know.
Did Enterprise circle back with us?
No, I hadn't received anything. I don't think he was. What, Tony?
I was just gonna, I spoke with Tanya today and she never even raised it.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I mean, it's a non-issue, and you know, with boards like this, a lot of times, I'm sure you're familiar, sometimes people just do all this nonsense, and it is what it is. So,
Yeah.
It's,
you know,
yeah.
I didn't want to respond immediately because it's just, you know, can be a waste of time, and it takes, you know, an engagement from me, and technically he's not entitled to a legal opinion anyway. I'm not his lawyer, right? But he wasn't going to stop. So hopefully, you know, we don't hear too much on that issue.
Does
More on
anybody
that
have any insight as to why he's behaving this way? Besides that, it's Richard.
Don't.
Like no, it's just, I mean, Jeanette, do you ever speak with him outside?
I haven't in quite a while. Back when I was still in touch with him, he seemed to think it was in the public's right to know, sort of his quest for information and letting the public know what was going on. essentially.
It dawned on me one day that I met Richard when I worked at City Hall years ago, and he was doing the same kind of thing. And I, as frustrating as his emails can be, sometimes I think they really are kind of what Jeanette said. He has, I think, a feeling that he wants the public to know what's going on
Right.
if he thinks something's not being done right.
Right. He's his
Yeah.
own consumer watch group.
Yeah, I never
yeah.
thought of his opinions or his sort of annoyance behavior was more than anything than his quest for information in the public good kind of way. I don't think he was malicious in his intent.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, I would, I guess, my comment on that is, so raise it, be corrected, and that's it. But
Yeah.
he's arguing a legal point that he has no qualification to do. And it's the same thing Tony brought up prior to that about different construction items. He's not qualified to tell us what materials we should be using on our buildings either, so to the extent I get what you're saying, but it's gotten to the point where, it is somewhat harassing. And once you do respond, it just continues. So, I'm of the opinion that unless you want me to respond, I shouldn't be spending your money on that nonsense. But anyway.
Well, and I kind of, I feel like there is a little, I wouldn't say that it's all, he can stand on that one podium like, I'm doing this for transparency and for the good, for the good of the public. But when you're harassing people, and it's pretty consistent, and I think that is malicious. I do feel that he can be malicious at times. And if you tell him something that he doesn't want to hear, that doesn't fall into line with his conspiracy theory that he has at that moment, he lashes out. And it's like, and this emailing all these multiple people, that is harassment. So it's like, so bring it up, and all right. And if it's clarified, if you have a question, bring it up in a respectful manner. I don't get a lot of sense that there's any respect. It's not a respectful dialogue. So it's always accusatory. It's always implying that there's something underhanded going on. It's very conspiracy theory based. And so I do consider that to be a bit malicious. So it's I don't know. And that's just, you have to pardon me, because it's been years of exposure to it. And the time that Tony has had to spend, the time that Kate has had to spend, it has crossed my mind that we should start billing him. I'm almost wondering if he's, just stirring up trouble. It's very odd to me. It's not odd to question things. I welcome questions. I welcome dialogue. I welcome, hey, I mean, there's been some times where he's been very valid. His points have been very valid. But when you don't like what you hear and then you lash out again, that's concerning to me.
Well, it's not even a valid FOIL request. And really, that's the only mechanism by which you should be asking us questions. And really what he's asking is a legal opinion, which he's not entitled to. That's not foilable. You know what I mean? And so, I think my whole point was I responded out of courtesy, but, stop it.
Well, we've always acknowledged his engagement. We've always, and tried to, I mean, he's a former board member. We've tried to be very respectful, I feel. And again, there's been some times he's had some very valid points, but I'm just finding lately that if it's not something that he gets the response that he wants, he just doesn't stop. And it's, as Kate said, borderline harassment. And if it's a valid concern, of course, we've always addressed it. So it's, I don't know. That's why I don't know.
Kate, just out of curiosity, have you expressed to him directly that what he's asking is not really in the realm of anything that could be addressed? And
She did last time.
You did? Yeah,
She did. And he came back.
yikes.
So it's when he's told something that I don't know. I can't speak for him. But all I
Right.
know is that if he doesn't hear what he wants to hear, then he will escalate it, as they say within my industry. He'll escalate it until and I think he gets something in his head and he thinks that there's a wrong that's been committed. And then he feels the need, it's on his shoulders to right that wrong.
Sort of
So
like a dog with a bone.
yeah, and that's okay. You need watchdogs, but I just find that once, if he does it, this for some reason, it wasn't satisfactory, the answer. So Tony's always tried to engage him with respect and acknowledge, and I think we all have, but it's becoming to me like, how much respect does he have for the land bank? And it was almost like he insinuates things, and that's what I'm finding that's getting old.
So perhaps we should just ignore him.
Oh, we've done it. Finally, Kate just had it. So it was just, and I said, it's okay. It's okay. Because he was escalating it, Jeanette. It wasn't just one email.
Yeah, no, I get it. It sounds like it's really annoying and just way out of the realm of what is appropriate in some ways. So
I think appropriate's a good word. Maybe, appropriate's a good word for that.
maybe should he continue? Maybe there's some kind of I don't know, some sort of approach that says, look, this is bordering on harassment, and should you continue, we'll be forced to, I don't know, take some sort of action. I don't know.
I don't
really what
I don't
the
know if
answer
we
is,
can.
but
I don't know if there is an answer except just to continue to handle it with as much grace, and again, take each question and each inquiry and each, opinion that comes across, and then handle it.
Here's the thing. No member of the public is entitled to anything pursuant to FOIL except a document. Okay. So normally what we have here is we have these recordings so people can watch our meetings. They can listen to how you've reasoned, how you've come to decisions. They can look at the agendas and the attachments, the resolutions, the contracts. And that's really and all they're entitled to. Your attorney-client relationship discussions, your executive session discussions on privileged, information, that sort of thing. Not only are they not documents, but they would not fall under FOIL anyway. And so he's asking questions like almost like an accountability thing that he's not even entitled to an explanation by law. And I think over time we have, like Heather said, we've done the best we can to respond to that. And, I almost don't mind, except when it comes across the way that it has. And, the simple fact is we've done other agreements. He was on the board. He approved a co-development. He's aware of, why we did that and the legal reasons behind it. And then the other issue in that email was about needing licensed trades to do work, and that seat wouldn't necessarily have that, which is also not true. If there is other subcontracts where seat cannot do the work, we've discussed ad nauseum in other meetings that have been on the record that you could watch as well, that basically say where we need to bid out work over that $15,000, we will. But the essence of the actual, GC contract work that can be done by seat is a totally different animal than a for-profit construction contract to be bid. So, again, even what I said, even in the tone I said, it was exactly the explanation he was looking for. And he wasn't even entitled to it. So, I think if it continues, it's not a FOIL request. You're not entitled to that information. And it is what it is. He's probably going to go on social media or some other, and make statements that aren't true, but that's not yeah. Anyway,
Okay,
We move on to the projects reports.
sure.
So I think we're done with 791 River, right? So 11 Winnie Avenue, I was last at the site about 2 weeks ago, and Johnny Bobo was in the middle of, well, he had just started tearing down the old back foundation wall. And I met with Ryan, my property manager, and he told me he was there today and he saw masonry block there. He didn't walk behind the building. I'm going to go there tomorrow or Thursday. But that project should be nearing completion really, really soon. So, so that'll be a good thing. I need to get that marketed. Any questions on that? Okay, 54 Fifth Avenue. We have been waiting for a long time for Russ Reeves to do a scope of work and submit it to the city with his stamp. So SEAT could finish the interior. And it's, you know, you guys have heard me say a million times, I have a lot of respect for Russ's abilities, and I do. But I think there are times when he has more work than he can handle. And I think this time we've just gotten forgotten. So I received an email from him saying he would have something for us soon. He said that he would have something for us soon about 3 or 4 months ago for 54 Fifth. So I have asked Chazen to get involved with that. George Brower is pulling his hair out. He's an easygoing guy, and he is just frustrated as anything, as am I. You know, the delays that really were caused for 11 Winnie and 54 Fifth Avenue was really the reason why I had to go and borrow $80,000. So
Tony, do you
Yeah.
want me to write a letter and I'll share it with you, you know, as a draft, and just say, listen, here, we needed this done by, it didn't happen. These are public contracts and time is of the essence. And any further delay will result in not being awarded any further public contracts or something like that.
he actually sent, I got a reply from him just before I started the meeting. So let's, Kate, let's talk about it, because I'll
Okay.
read this email, digest it, and then,
Okay,
but I think,
because every time we get together, this isn't the first time you brought it up. And,
No.
you know, I've had it too, because I realize, you know, COVID, et cetera. But the reality is this is public money. We have a public agenda, we have deadlines. And if you are not going to be responsible in completing your work in a timely fashion, then you're out.
yeah, that may be needed, I think, for 54 Fifth Avenue. Right now, what we need is the fastest engineer or architect that we can get in there to get us what
Yeah.
George needs to get a permit.
Yeah, it's really unfair.
I mean, at a certain point, the youth build crew that he has, they're going to, you know, they're going to go away, and there'll be a period that building will be on hiatus because there won't be a youth build crew. And, you know, the round 4 funds end at the end of this year. So it's just we have to get somebody in there. And, you know, even when Russ gives me a date, he often doesn't meet it. So it's right now, not reading his email. I think with what I know right now, I feel more comfortable with Jason. I'd want to talk to them about timetable and all that, but it really, to me, it comes down to whoever can get the job done sooner.
Yeah.
Well, didn't we bid those out?
Yeah, no, this is a co-development. Let's see.
Oh, the
54th
54,
Ave.
yeah, but Russ Reeves, we bid out for that, I thought.
We did, yeah.
Right, so we would have to terminate it and rebid it. Because he's our sub, not theirs.
Okay,
So in that case, we would.
okay. Well, when we talk about this email, let's talk about that because
Okay,
that time could kill us.
right.
But if we have to do it, we have to do it.
What was this contract for, Tony? How much?
Reeves,
Yeah,
Brian, I have to go in to check my financial records off the top of my head. I don't
Yeah.
know. And there've been change orders to boot, so.
Yeah.
It's,
but what's the threshold for going out to bid? Is it 15 or 5 or?
it's 15.
So it's
our
more than
per-
15.
Yeah, and anything over $15,000 requires an RFP.
Yeah. Well, I would
So,
support going with Jason if Reeves isn't working out. I mean,
Yeah,
I've worked with them plenty of times. They have pretty good turnaround. They have a bigger organization.
They have a lot more bandwidth, yeah. Jason was Malta's town engineer, and I
They've
can't say
actually-
that, yeah, I can't say I was 1,000% thrilled with them, but they got the job done. I mean, they were far better than another town engineer we had. And I have an outstanding working relationship with Ed Larkin, so got a high degree of confidence in him.
go
But-
for it.
Well, I'll talk to Kate before I go for it. Let's see, 3229 6th Avenue. I asked Johnny Bobo to concentrate on getting 11 Winnie Avenue done because of cash flow issues. And he heard me because he continued to do some work there, but he didn't bill us for it until very recently. So once he's done at 11 Winnie, he'll jump back over to 3229 and complete that project. But I want to say that's about 75% complete. 7 Park Avenue, actually, I asked Russ Reeves if he would do a report that the city requires in order for the city to condemn the building. So he actually did do that, and I need to get that. I got that from him last Thursday or Friday, and I need to get that over to code enforcement, or I should say the city engineer, so they can do the condemnation letter. The only other piece to this that needs to happen is Public Utilities needs to go in and separate a water service line that serves 2 properties at the same time. So, and I'm not sure exactly how that is laid out, but in my conversation with Tanya today, another thing that she offered, because of our cash flow situation, she offered that I can reallocate the funds that we have earmarked to demolish 7 Park Avenue and for the bill that we expect to come from the city for 3246 Avenue, and use those funds for the ongoing projects we have, with the expectation that when we get the proceeds from the sales of those projects, we'll go back and finish the demolitions and paying the city. So that was that would be helpful. And other than that, we have no properties except the bunch on the list that I gave to the city last week.
Any word on those, Tony?
No, Steve Strikeman called me today to ask about one that actually was next to a building that I put on the list, but I couldn't connect with them today. Today's really full of meetings today. So I have an email out there to say that let's connect Wednesday, and I'll find out what's on his mind. But I haven't heard anything. Monica reached out and wanted to set up a meeting with Kate and Heather and I and Steve. And she tried to do that for Friday. But it just wasn't going to work out. I think Steve Strikeman was actually on vacation. I know he was. So I'm not sure when Monica's going to reschedule that meeting. But at some point, at some point, we're going to have a conversation about what's on the list. And, the negotiation that goes along with that process. Several of the buildings, I'm told several of the buildings that I have on the list as the better buildings, the owners came up with the cash to have the city council take special action to give them, to take them off the foreclosure list. So that's what I've got.
Tony, you haven't heard anything from RPI at all, have you?
Well, actually, I should continue on about that list. Chris from RPI was part of a Zoom meeting I had with Bart Nelson, and he asked that we put 2 buildings on the list for the studio, which I did, and you probably remember that conversation from the last board meeting. That's the last I've heard anything from anyone about the urban studio partnership. So today what rolled around in my mind is that agreement has been in draft form for probably 6 months now.
Yeah.
So I don't know if priorities have changed or if someone just has it on the back burner, but I think we really need to start getting an agreement in place. So
Yeah,
at least we know what everyone's responsible for.
sure. Yeah, I reached out to Christine Schutte at Habitat, and she hadn't heard anything either.
Okay.
Didn't we do an agreement? Didn't I throw something out there? I can't remember.
Yeah, there's an MIU circulating, but I don't think everybody's signed off on it yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it
You-
stuck somewhere? Or where is
Well-
it stuck?
RPI is preparing it, I believe. And Kate, you did look it over. You had comments. I had comments.
Yeah.
And I think someone just needs to take it and finalize it.
Okay.
Okay. Motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Heather's
second.
muted.
Yeah, sorry. I make a motion. I'll see you in 6 minutes. I gotta go put out some fires.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thanks,
See you in 5
everybody.
minutes. Bye-bye.
See you in a
Bye-bye.
bit.